What happens if you don't pass your check ride? MzeroA Nation, Jason here. Doesn't sound like a video I would do, right? I'm always optimistic and everything else, but truth be told, sometimes you have to look at the brutal facts of things, and there's a possibility that someone out there may not pass their check ride. Well, let me first tell you that in every adversity, there's a seed of a greater advantage. So if that is you and you did fail a check ride and you're wondering what on earth is next, I would encourage you to look at this as a seed of greatness and not as a seed of failure. This will not define you. This is not some scarlet letter. This is not anything. This is just a little bump along the way to a long journey. And mastery is a quest, not a score on a test. And you're going to be A-okay. If you are watching this and have a check ride coming up, maybe you're just curious. Well, I'd encourage you that you need to be positive. You need to believe in yourself, most certainly. I'm a big believer that you manifest the things that you focus on. And I'd imagine if you have a check ride coming up, you're just watching this video because you're curious. You're certainly not going to manifest any of these seeds or anything like that. You're going to manifest seeds of greatness is all you're going to manifest. But let me share this with you real quick. And before I get into that, will you join me for a live mock check ride on May 31st, by the way? May 31st, that's a Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on YouTube, right here on Facebook, the MzeroA YouTube, the MzeroA Facebook. Throw us a subscribe now, throw us a like, so you get all our great videos and alerts when we go live. It's going to be big. I'll be asking questions, giving away prizes for correct answers on the 31st of May. Back to the topic at hand. There's really three possible outcomes the moment you go into and start with the check ride. The first is an approval. It's what everybody wants. You get your temporary airman certificate. You see the pictures all the time in the MzeroA Nation Facebook group. And if you're not in the MzeroA Nation Facebook group, you should be. You see all those great pictures, people holding their temporary airman certificates in front of the plane or in front of the bell, or you're shaking the check ride examiner's hand. Like, it's cool stuff. It's awesome. That is your approval. Second option is a discontinuance. There's nothing wrong with a discontinuance. All a discontinuance means is, I did some of my check ride. It was satisfactory. However, I'm not able to finish. Here's some examples. You get through the entire oral exam, the entire ground exam. You go out to the airplane and it won't start. Or you do a run up and the mags are bad. You didn't fail your check ride. You just can't safely continue your check ride. So you get a letter of discontinuance which says, hey, Jason passed all of this stuff. We just weren't able to fly. So he or she still needs to do this, 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 and this. It could be because of weather. I've had students, learners, pass the ground exam, the oral exam, but unable to fly due to weather, or started the flight, realized the weather was worse than they wanted to, and came back. I had one learner go out, work themselves up so much, was getting nauseous during the steep turns and said, hey, I need to go back. Good decision making, honestly. Came back the next day, just did the remaining flight maneuvers. Discontinuance can be for any reason. At the end of the day, FAR 91.3 says you're the pilot in command. You have the final authority as the safety of this flight. If you don't feel well, if the weather's not good, if something doesn't feel right, you can discontinue. You'll get credit for what you did, but you got to go do the stuff you didn't do another day. And that can be tough, because I know it's tough to schedule check rides and everything else right now. Some of you are 2-3 months out from even, you call an examiner and they go, hey, I can't get a check ride done for 3 months. So to do a discontinuance, like, the winds are a little bit high, but I waited 3 months for this. I don't want to wait another 3 months. Yeah, and nor do I want to read about anybody more in an NTSB report either. I don't mean to be so blunt with it, but that's what you have to think about as well. Always living to fly another day. So the first option was an approval. The second option is a discontinuance. I did a discontinuance actually during my CFI check ride I shared last week. My CFI check ride was over 2 days. I did the ground, the oral exam for 4 hours, long check ride. That's a typical CFI check ride. One day, and then the next day I flew. But in between, there was a discontinuance. And the last is a disapproval or a failure. What happens if you actually fail your check ride? Well, to that we can actually go to the FAR aim to learn a little bit more. Look with me in FAR 6149. 6149 in plain English stipulates that you must work with your CFI until he or she determines that you're proficient to pass the retest. You get a logbook endorsement from that flight instructor. They say, yes, Jason, you're good to go. I checked everything out on the items that we failed on. We went over, we did more groundwork, we did another little flight. We're ready to go for the retest. You do a new 8710 and you go about your way. Now, it's not all that bad. In fact, if you do it within a shortened time, within 60 days, the FARs bring us some more good news. Let's look at this real quick. In 6143 paragraph F1, says that you actually receive credit for the areas of operation that you passed, provided you're retesting within 60 days from the date of the original check ride. Also, you need to bring that your original 8710 form and all your original forms in with you. So in a fit of rage, crumble it all up and throw away a failure or anything like that, a disapproval notice. Don't the pink slip. Don't throw it away. Keep it, bring it with you. Because here's how a failure works. You passed the oral exam. Awesome. You did great on your steep turns, your slow flight, your stalls. Awesome. Your landing, that short field landing, they let you try it twice and you were 400 feet long. You were way off, not even close. Well, everything else was good. It was just that pesky short field landing. So here's what you need to do. You go back with your flight instructor. You go practice some short field landings. Your flight instructor re-endorses you for a retest. You do a new 8710 form. Bring in your previous disapproval form with you as well. And as long as it's within 60 days from the original date of check ride, guess what? You only got to go do the thing you failed. And anything else you weren't able to get to. Obviously, if you fail on takeoff procedures and don't even get to the flight, you got to do the rest of the flight. But the oral exam is already done. Anything that you have already passed is done and gone. You don't need to do it again, provided you do it within 60 days. If it goes beyond 60 days, it's like a blank slate, brand new check ride. So it would behoove you, it would benefit you, that if for some reason you fail, that you say in every adversity there's a seed of a greater advantage. My advantage is I just get to practice a little bit more. My advantage is I get to do 2 check rides, we'll call it, and be even more confident the second time. My advantage is I know what I'm going to be tested on. I know what a check ride is like. I know what questions will be asked of me. There's your advantage. Now, there will probably be a retest fee, so it's going to be a little bit more of an expensive check ride. Just be mindful of that. They're still going to want their initial check ride fee, and they're going to want a retest fee. It's all good. Welcome to aviation. It's an expensive hobby or career that you've chosen. That's how aviation is. But you only have to do it, what you failed, provided you do it within 60 days. Don't let that thing lag. If your check ride examiner is difficult to schedule, they know the 60-day window. You say, hey, do you mind moving somebody around for me because I've got to get this in within 60 days. Do it on a Monday when they're not busy, whatever it is. Move your work schedule around to get this thing done. It benefits you to get it done within those 60 days. I know you're not going to fail your check ride, but now you know more, right? Hey, I hope you are listening to the Checkride books on Audible. Hope you're inside the MzeroA online ground school for finishing that written test, knocking out that Checkride, making that safe real-world pilot. MzeroAtrial.com as well to check that out. Will I see you on May 31st? That's Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time for the big mock Checkride. Looking forward to that. Throw us a like, throw us a subscribe, and in the meantime, have a blessed, abundant, outstanding rest of your day. And most importantly, remember, a good pilot is always learning. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you.